What is going on, everyone? As you can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be going over a trade recap that I took for today. The market finally brought some decent volatility in for us, but you'll see here we have the total P&L of $1,162. Here are the trades for today: six total, four winners, two losers, and the average losing trade was about 60 bucks, with the average winning trade being about 332. So here are the stats for the day. Let's get right into the actual trades itself. And we had somewhat of a choppy start to the day, and that's ultimately where I actually took my first loss, was in this general area. And then I believed personally, with my bias for being bullish on the day, and I was bullish on the day because if you look at the 4-hour chart at that moment in time, we were right about here-ish, and we were pushing up into the highs, and I figured we were going to be pushing up into that a little bit higher before we sold off like we're seeing right now. But as we look at the market open here, I believe that this was the basing candle and that we were going to start to push up to VWAP relatively early. And then this was the second trade that I took, which made that back and then some. And I walked away from my computer for a bit here just because I didn't want to go on tilt. And I know mentally that when I start to lose early in the day, I have to take a step back and then reassess the chart. And I'll go over some of my theories and some habits that I have that I've been aware of later in this year. But took a step away from the computer, and as you can see, we came back here, had a little win for $110, and that is where we had a nice sell-off. And now is where I thought we were going to begin to push up through VWAP. So here was the second trade, and then the third trade or fourth trade, which was the biggest of the, or sixth trade, I should say, which was the biggest of the day, with a total of 610 bucks and almost a little over 10 points in the Nasdaq, which was pretty cool. So that was the trade of the day. This, I'm sad that I missed this. I had some client stuff that I was dealing with, but let's jump over to the 5 minute on this side of the screen to show you what I was looking at. And as the 5 minutes started to push down, the MACD was telling us that we were weak and that we were going to continue to push lower, and we actually didn't get the cross until almost 10:50, and I was long done trading by then. But you'll see I have these two lines drawn out here. And then I drew this top line to pretty much come up with the support for these two 5 minute candles. And then as we push down, I drew this line to draw the support for these next two candles here. And then you'll notice this is where I had the longs for the day for the 290 followed by the 610. So when this candle opened here and pushed down, as we came to approach this line again, this is where I began to get long to basically capitalize on the body creation of this candle. Same thing with this. As this candle opened, we pushed down, and as I noticed we got halfway through the candle, we pushed down further. I was patient, and as we came back up, this is where I got long and then sold in the top part of the candle. So that was my strategy and thesis for the day. I was overall bullish on this day, but that's why you cannot be married to a position or to a thesis, because you could tell we haven't even began any of our bullish activity to the upside. We're still starting to sell off, and it looks like the MACD may even cross down and push us lower. So that is the recap for my trades today. Looking at this on TradingView is a little bit different. And as we look at the 15-minute, you'll notice that we did open up inside of the London session, was never able to push up, and we ultimately sold off. This dotted line here that I have is the prior day close, and you could tell that we are working smoothly beneath that, moving to the downside. One area that I am really interested in watching is what I have in this green box right here. And this might be easier to see on the 4-hour, 1 sec, which it is. Okay, so as we're looking at the 4-hour, we had this gap, and then we had this being somewhat of a resistance where we pushed down. Now I'm anticipating this to be support, and I believe that if we can reclaim this as support, we will healthily move above 22,000, likely go to 22,500. But we're looking at the monthly and the weekly anchored VWAPs here. VWAP is still moving to the upside, so buyers are in control. But the reason why I take shorter position times is because I'm so used to being wicked out and have my positions go against me quickly with NASDAQ, even if I have my bias correct. So that's one thing that I've been working on. I'm curious to see what the retest of these VWAPs is going to look like in terms of the price action. But nonetheless, that is the recap for today's video, guys, with what I was looking at in the market here. I'm done for the day, but any questions, please comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.